Good afternoon and hello, welcome. My name's Misery. This is Inside the Mind of a Masters Terran player. Today we're going to be looking at a Terran versus Terran for episode 3. We've already done a Zerg and a Protoss game, so now it's only fitting that we do a Terran game. I've had some interest from you guys in the comments of the first 2 videos and seeing some losses. This one's not a loss, so you'll have to wait until next week. How I'm going to do this is we're going to do 3 wins, then 3 losses, then 3 wins, so on and so forth. We'll do one of each race every 3 weeks. So that's how it's going to be going forward. In the meantime, we're going to start this one up. So Terran versus Terran. Hard matchup for me lately. I've been struggling. Pretty hard, and I've kind of gone back to I was experimenting, trying out some 1-racks Reaper expands, or just with 1 gas opening, but I've been struggling doing that, so we're going to be doing a 2 gas opening, going back to a really safe opening where you go for your factory, 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions, just to kind of scout and defend against any other 2 gas openings. You know, it's pretty good against defending against 2 racks. It's pretty good at defending against any sort of Reaper Hellion shenanigans that the opponent might do. If he wants to try and do the lift up with the medevac with the Reapers and Hellions, you can get out of a quick starport and get a Viking to counteract that. So it's very versatile, gives you a lot of options. So that's why we do that. We go gas, barracks, second gas, after our first supply depot, of course. And we're going to 17 scout. I want to be able to see where my opponent is gas-wise. I want to see, does he have 2 gases? Does he have 1 gas? Is he going to get a factory? Is he only going to build 1 barracks? Sometimes people will go for 3 racks with 1 of the barracks is at home, make it look normal, but then they'll skip the orbital and have 2 barracks on my side of the map. This guy's not doing any of that. He's playing the very same build as us. So with this information, what can we do? Well, what I'm thinking right now is, all right, he's doing the same thing as me. That means keep my Reaper at the top of a ramp. If I get the first hit or the better engagement, I can kill his Reaper first. Then maybe I can go across the map and create some pressure at his natural that builds. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for right now. I'll take the watchtower, and I want to see, you know, maybe he's going to come across with his Reaper here. Maybe he'll come from down below, but this kind of creates a little bit more map vision for me, and I can see if he's going to try and be aggressive with his Reaper. In this particular instance, he's not. He's kind of just doing the same thing as me, waiting with his first initial units. We're doing almost the exact same build through and through. He's a little bit quicker with his starport. I think I'm still building units and getting my 3rd supply depot, so he might get supply blocked, actually. Yeah, he's definitely going to get supply blocked, but he's going to have the faster starport. And once you get to this point, when you have the 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions, this is where I get a little anxious, and especially if I haven't seen any units yet. I know he's doing the same opening, but the correct move is probably to keep your units at home and chill, but I like to scout with mine, and you're going to see I'm going to take an engagement. It's going to start off poorly here because I have 3 of my units ahead. So we see the exact same units count, and that's good to see from us, because if we don't see this, or if we see it over here, then it means he's doing something different. He might be going for more Reapers and more Hellions and a medevac, but because we see this, I'm not afraid of that. So I'm just gonna do my normal thing during this and hopefully get my add-ons and my cyclones on time while we're microing this. So here we go. We actually win the engagement, even though we took it at a worse angle with 3 of our units out of position. So this makes things a little bit more complicated for him, because in TVT, a small lead can snowball very quickly. I can kill some workers while being annoying with this Hellion. It's going to do some damage. Not very much, mind you, but the Reaper is pretty huge here. We're able to kill some SCVs at home. I'm still making my Cyclone on time, which is nice. I'm not getting my Raven, which is unfortunate, but this is very annoying for him, and we're also getting a worker lead. So we could be getting our natural command center turned into an orbital faster. That's not happening. Instead, we're making an SCV, which is unfortunate. But we've done enough damage now here where we already have a 6 to 8 supply lead, and everything looks pretty good for us. We have our depots on time. We're not getting supply blocked. He's going to start a third CC. I'm going to start a third CC on location. So this, I would say this is good for me. I can take map vision. He hasn't had any map vision yet. As far as, I don't think he's gone anywhere past his own watchtower. If we look at his side. Yeah, he has no idea what I am doing. So that's really good. If he doesn't know what I'm doing, he's going to play safer. He's going to allow me to be a little bit greedier by putting my... he's going to allow me to put my CC on location without bothering it. Now, this is something I like to do because the Cyclones don't really do much when your opponent's playing safe. If he's not going to send his Raven across, if he's not going to send a drop across, and after what I saw with my Reaper harassing his main mineral line, I can make a pretty good assumption that he's not going to be on my side of the map, especially having both towers here. Maybe he tries to get cute with his Raven, send it all the way around here, but at this point in the game, 5 minutes or so, I want to scout to see when his third goes out, and the easiest way to do that, send your quick Cyclones over. Okay, so they don't see a third base. Let's get a little bit closer. Oh, there's a tank. All right, let's just back up, chill by the third base. As long as I see when his third base goes down, that's good for me. Right now, I can be thinking, well, he might be trying to do some sort of attack soon because we don't see a third base. He might be, playing it safe, having the third base in his main, so this would be an okay time to scan to see what his production is going to be. B, if he even has a third base started in his main, because if he does, I definitely need to start mine soon because we haven't started ours yet. But I do know in this game we started on location, so that's one positive. We're gonna lose one Cyclone here. That sucks. 2 Cyclones should beat 1 Cyclone, but they didn't get that last hit in. Meanwhile, on my side of the map, here we are, third base on location. We got stims started. I think that's also a little bit late, but I've got my Ravens. I'm feeling pretty good about this game right now. Just mostly because of the map vision. The map vision is really important in TVT. If you can see when your opponent is moving out across the map or trying to drop or anything like that, if you have that map vision, now I'm sending Marines across the map too to see, as well as I'm moving across the map because I know that his army's in his main, then we can make better decisions with our army. And making better decisions with our army, getting better positions is really important in this matchup. You can siege up first, usually you would win the engagement. So this is a good time with me moving across the map. I'm looking for his army. That's what this scan is for. Where's his army at? Well, we see 1 tank and 2 Marines, so we can make a couple of guesses. He's either out over here somewhere, which is not likely because my Marine's here and didn't see it, or it's over here, or it's in the main. So in this particular game, I assume that his army's in the main. Like, okay, he's playing really scared. My Marine is just outside of vision to see the third base, so I'm assuming he's in his main, which is a bad assumption from me. You're about to see why. So on this map, this position in here is excellent for siege tanks. If you can get a couple of tanks sieged up by these rocks, you can hit this gas. You can hit the CC. He can't really hit you. It's awesome. It's a really nice spot. If you see, he's just out of range if you can get behind the rocks with that tank. So it's a really good spot to siege up. I try to take this spot and it doesn't go great for me. So I go in with the Raven, throw down some auto turrets, and I forget, I siege up on the wrong side of the rock. So this is not how you do this engagement. Everything was looking pretty okay until I went a little bit too far. So sadly, we lose this engagement really hard. So now I'm thinking, shit. Our opponent's got a lot of stuff. He's definitely got a third base on location now. Mine isn't even in orbital yet. And we threw away pretty much our whole army. The Ravens are still alive. That's nice. And I still have the watchtowers. Okay. But now we're on the defensive. So on this map, in Terran versus Terran, we both have our third bases. What's the most likely way he's going to engage at me? Well, he's either going to engage in that same spot over here, but I killed my rocks to make it a little bit of a better place for me to be able to defend. And the other option is he can siege up by these rocks. So both the locations are very good in Terran versus Terran. This ramp's not great because I can defend from over here. Sieging up over here allows him to do the same thing that I was trying to do at his natural. And we see with this watchtower, luckily, I'm able to see that that's the route he's going to go for. You can see he's got it all already queued up to that corner. He wants to go right across the top, siege up over here. So because he's taking such a long time to get there, I still have my Ravens. I'm able to actually get some tanks of my own out in time. And even though we have a much smaller force supply-wise, he's about 30 supply ahead. As long as we don't let him take this area, or take this location, I can defend this and resupply pretty quickly. All is not lost. So he's going to set up a little soft contain here, not let me get a fourth base. I'm going to be able to see that. I still have the map vision in the middle, which is very important because now is when a player like him should be trying to use his rally to come up this way, try to sandwich me somehow. He's not really doing that. Instead, he's going for, I think it's his fourth base, yes. And he hasn't really added a lot of production yet. I've got my production up before my fourth base so that I can try and catch up quickly. If I lose that fight the way I lost it, I need to get my production up faster. I can't be worried about taking a fourth base. I have to get production up because I need to catch back up to his unit count. We're still behind about 20 supply. So I'm just, poking ahead with the Ravens, making sure that he's still there, not repositioning somewhere else. On the other side, because I know I'm being soft contained, I pick up 2 medevacs to try and do some damage on his side of the map. So I'm doing what he should be doing to me. I'm setting up a little bit of a flank over here while he's soft containing over here. He should be doing the same thing, but on this side of the map. Luckily, we're safe and he's not doing that. He's allowing me to catch up in my unit count. So we stay here, add up a few more tanks, make sure he's not going to try and move in with his Ravens. Try to do damage at the third base. Okay, he's got tanks. Pick up, go into the main. Be annoying. He still has the soft contain, but now we're able to kind of do some damage. We're slowing down his production, killing workers. All right, nice. He's not doing anything with the soft contain. He's cleaned this up, but now we've kind of caught ourselves back into it. We look at the worker count. What is it at? I'm actually ahead about 10 workers, so that's really nice. Even though I'm behind 1 CC, he's got his 4th somewhere. He's about to throw it over on location. I feel really good now because, we did that damage. I'm pretty safe from the soft contain. He's not going to do anything. So that's going to be the next step in this game, is trying to clean up the soft contain with losing as little as possible. Now we've got a lot of units over here. And, you're always worried about him trying to come up from the south to try and sandwich it somehow. This is sad. We lost a Raven for free. So I'm trying to slow push in. We get a Raven. All right, sweet. He can't really disable tanks. That's awesome. He's got his 4th base. We can see with the sensor tower that he's done it. And we just want to break out of this contain. That's what I'm thinking right now. We want to either... Oh, sorry. No, we're not going to break the contain yet. So after watching this soft contain for, what was it, the last 5 minutes or so, he's had me soft contain for 4 minutes. I've got a pretty good idea that he's not going to press his advantage here. He's liking this expand and just chill strategy. So now's my thought process. All right, we've got some tanks and some decent production going. If I leave like 2 tanks at home, he doesn't have a Raven. I can probably defend him trying to slow creep in and send a lot of my units across and do counter damage. So that's exactly what I do. We're going to send the majority of our army across, leave 2 tanks, and rally, create our 4th base. He's not really going to be able to engage in this soft contain. And we're going to see that now. He's going to try. But we have enough tanks. His Marines take a few hits, but then we've got 4 tanks. He's got 2. I've got all my units across here now. And now I want to see where his rally is. Because now I want to put the pressure back on him. We're going to kill some units in the middle of the map. His soft contain is practically nothing. So that's what we'll be cleaning up next. But I want to be aggressive with these units. I know that he doesn't have a whole lot of stuff at home. Well, he does. But he can't have these units up to the north and a lot of stuff at his natural and 3rd base. Now he's got everything kind of in between his 3rd and 4th. I'm able to clean this up, group everything together now, and take my 4th base. So this is not a great engagement for me. This is a very easily defended spot for him, and he has a planetary. Tanks like to attack planetaries because they take priority over other tanks and Marines for some reason. So on the plus side, I've got my Raven. I can either disable or Seeker Missile his units. At this point, it's better, I think, to Seeker Missile the Marines because they'll just die very, very fast. We'll slow it down. There's the engagement. We get the Seeker missile off and sieged up faster. That's what we talked about earlier. The player who sieges up faster usually wins engagements. Now, I didn't really win this engagement. I killed a lot of his units, put a lot of pressure on, and I kept air control. So that's one important thing, keeping the Viking count higher. So the Viking count's higher. He's got a little bit of a higher tank count. I'm able to keep his units on his side of the map, though. That's the important thing here. I'm not really going to do any damage to this planetary. He's got really good tank position here on both sides of the planetary. But at the same time, he's on edge. He's not going to put any pressure on my side. He's even got tanks here just in case I try to creep up that way. And at home, I want to get more production out. So now that we're almost on 5 bases, 2 more starports, 1 more factory. So we'll have 3 factories, 3 starports, 5 barracks, and that's going to be our production for pretty much the rest of the game. He's going to clean up my own soft contain, but not at a very reasonable cost. No, I guess it's not that bad. He actually only loses 1 or 2 tanks. I thought he was going to lose more. On this side here, try to do a little counter damage with my rally. Not a whole lot done. Both of us on very similar economies now. Very similar production. He gets an extra factory out there, but he doesn't have his starports yet. So that's going to let me get air control. I haven't lost any medevacs really. He's got to remake medevacs or remake Vikings now. So because he doesn't have the starports, that's pretty huge for me. If I can keep pressure on his side of the map until I get Vikings out and a couple of Liberators, that will pretty much win the game. If you get a high Viking count, a high tank count, and then 1 or 2 Liberators just to push back his tanks, it makes a huge difference in battle, and it's going to allow me to slow push any of his bases, really. So we want to keep him on his side of his map as long as possible and use the terrain to our advantage. We want to use these ramps, siege up tanks around here, make it very difficult for him to cross the map. Meanwhile, like all the time, we're scanning, we're looking for his army, trying to, again, use the terrain to our advantage. We're going to siege up here, or force him to siege here. Sadly, we lose a tank. Poor tank. He has a lot of stuff. It's a little bit scary. We do have a better worker lead, though. I might have too many workers here. All the time, getting Vikings, getting upgrades for mech units, adding more tanks again, because you don't ever really want to fall behind in tank count in TVT. You start falling too far behind on tanks, which, I mean, he has way too many now. How many tanks he has? He has 19 siege tanks. So that comes from having 3 factories and only 1 starport. Now he's got the 2 extra starports. He doesn't really have the supply to build Vikings. He has just way too many siege tanks. So again, we're just keeping him on his side of the map. Trying to keep him there as long as possible until we can add the Liberators. Once we add the Liberators, he's not going to be able to kill them. We have way too much stuff for that to happen. So our Vikings are going to take out his medevacs. He's sieging up. He's going to win the ground battle here, but not without losing all of his Marines. And now this is where a lot of players might be tempted to land their Vikings. Myself included. I've made this mistake many times. Don't land your Vikings on this many tanks. I've got about the same amount of Vikings as he has tanks here. Maybe he might actually have a couple more tanks than me. But if I land the Vikings, they are 100% getting obliterated. The tanks will maybe take a little bit of splash damage, but they won't win the fight. So it's better just keep these bad boys alive. Wait for a couple of Liberators in my own tanks, my own rally. He still has to slowly push into this or retreat. So if he doesn't cross onto my side of the map, this is fine. It's fine that we didn't really win this battle because we got 5 bases. I've got a pretty good economy going. I should be trying to get a 6th CC or multiple extra CCs by this point in the game. But we're not because, you know, I'm not Beyond or Maru or perfect in any way. So again, we're just kind of vying for position on this map. He's never going to regain air control at this point, even with his extra starports now finally kicking in. We've had air control for so long. Now I've got the Liberators. I've got 4 Liberators. Basically just ruins his tank line now. So even though we only sniped 1 tank there, we're forcing him to reposition all over the place now. I'm able to keep tabs with him, scanning all over, making sure that I have everything in position to deal with whenever he tries to counterattack, which he's going to try to do because he knows that I have the air control. If I just kind of slow push him with air control, he's dead. So he's got to try and catch me off guard with his tanks. He needs to get in position, take a base, and retreat so that he can have time to build lots of Vikings, while also preventing me from building more Vikings by taking out my economy. So I just want to keep tabs on his army at all times, keep scanning at him, trying to find out where he is, where he's trying to slow push me from, or where he's trying to counterattack me from with his siege tanks. And, you know, I realized at this point in the game I have way too many SCVs. I think I had about 90, so I sent some to their death. In that process, I found out where his army was. Awesome. So he scans my army. I see his army. I want to get this ramp in, or take control of this ramp basically, and here it is, the biggest engagement here. We're gonna stim everything, siege up the tanks, siege up the liberators. He's got a lot of Vikings. I've also got a lot of Vikings, but him engaging in this ramp is pretty poor. It's not the best engagement for me, but all I want here is to clean up the tanks. If I clean up the siege tanks a little bit and even comes out semi ahead in this engagement, I know I'll win the game because I've got so many liberators and so many Vikings. So now he's forced, he's got a few units rallied, but we're 60 supply ahead. Now is where we will slow push him with the liberators and tanks. Just creep him up forward with the Vikings, and that's kind of how this game is going to end. He's not going to be able to take back the air control because we've had it for so long. The longer you have the air control, the more it kind of spirals out of control. And there it is. No GG. Guess he was a little upset with that engagement. I don't know. That's episode 3. Inside the mind of a Terran player. Let me know what you guys think. I'm always interested in hearing feedback. I'm not a professional. So let me know how the games went, what I could have done better, what you guys would like to see moving forward. Next week's game will be a loss. I haven't decided which race I'm going to do yet, but probably Protoss because, you know, actually, you know what? I've actually beaten a lot of my Protoss opponents lately, so next one will probably be Zerg or Terran. So look forward to it. Should be out next Friday. If not, sometime during the weekend. Have a great day, guys. Cheers.